Of course, that's why I got a flu shot. Because the flu is caused by a virus. And antibiotics won't work against it because antibiotics only work against bacteria. What else is caused by a virus? Viruses are submicroscopic particles made up of one or more pieces of nucleic acid, either RNA or DNA, surrounded by proteins. The viruses are devoid of protoplasm. They are thus considered to be borderline organisms. The word virus comes from the Latin language and means poison. The viruses are therefore mostly associated with diseases. Some of the viral diseases are measles, chickenpox, polio, jaundice, rabies, influenza, and AIDS. Measles. Measles is a highly contagious disease that spreads through droplet infection. The virus causing measles is the rubella virus. The disease is characterized by fever, redness of eyes, cough, and a typical rash all over the body. Vaccination is a preventive measure to combat measles. Chickenpox. Chickenpox is another very contagious viral disease caused by varicella zoster. It is transmitted through air and droplet infection and enters the respiratory tract. Once inside the body, the virus gets into the bloodstream and finally enters the skin cells. It damages the skin cells, resulting in the formation of rashes or red spots on the entire body. These gradually turn into blisters filled with pus. The blisters dry up in a span of 7 to 8 days and form scabs. Drugs like acetaminophen and antihistamine can be administered to treat chickenpox. Polio. Polio is a viral disease that affects children below 5 years of age. It is transmitted by the ingestion of food and water that is contaminated with the polio virus. The virus travels down the alimentary canal and reaches the intestine, where it multiplies. It then reaches the spinal cord and targets the motor neurons and damages them. This results in paralysis of leg muscles, rendering them non-functional. Oral polio vaccine administered to infants below 1 year of age helps in the prevention of this disease. Rabies. Rabies virus is transmitted to human beings through the bite of a rabid dog. The disease is characterized by severe headache, high fever, and difficulty in swallowing. The patient develops slight paralysis due to an effect on the nervous system and becomes hydrophobic. That is, he develops a fear of water. Dogs should be vaccinated to prevent the occurrence of this disease. Influenza. Influenza is caused by influenza virus. The virus is transmitted through the air and enters the respiratory tract. It affects the epithelial cells, causing their inflammation. The symptoms include coughing and fever. AIDS. AIDS, or acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, is caused by HIV or the human immunodeficiency virus. This virus is transmitted through body fluids like blood and targets the lymphocytes in the blood. Lymphocytes act as a defense mechanism for our body. The diseased lymphocytes thus result in a compromised immune system, making the patient prone to minor infections. To summarize, viruses are submicroscopic particles made up of one or more pieces of nucleic acid, either RNA or DNA, surrounded by proteins. They can cause various diseases. Chickenpox is a contagious disease caused by varicella zoster. It enters the bloodstream and then the skin, causing rashes and blisters all over the body. Polio affects children below the age of 5 years and is transmitted through contaminated food or water. The virus multiplies in the intestine and reaches the spinal cord, damaging the motor neurons. Oral polio vaccine taken below the age of 1 year can prevent the disease. Rabies is transmitted through a rabid dog's bite and causes headache, high fever, and hydrophobia. Dog vaccination helps prevent the disease. Influenza is caused by the influenza virus. It transfers through air and affects the respiratory tract. AIDS, or acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, is caused by the HIV virus. It directly attacks the lymphocytes in the blood, which are an integral part of our body's immune system. Now that is one powerful organism. Well, non-organism. Whatever it is, it sure packs a punch. I think the bacteria can compete though. Find out what it does when you explore